Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Dynamics 365 Tech Talk. Today's topic is What's Changed in Dynamics 365 Human Resources, Part 2, Technical. My name is David, and I'll be your moderator today. We are broadcasting this session through Teams Live Events, and the audio can be heard through your device speakers. This session is being recorded on behalf of the Microsoft Corporation. When you join this event, your name, email address, and/or phone number may be viewable by the other session participants in the attendee list. By joining, you're agreeing to this experience. This is the second session in a two-part series. If you missed day one, please note that the recording of both sessions will be made available on the Tech Talks Community Dynamics page within the coming weeks. If you have questions for the presenters or need support, please use the Q&A panel located on the right side of your screen. Our presenters will be responding to your questions throughout the session and in a live segment at the end of the presentation. Thank you for your patience during these announcements. Presenting for us today from Microsoft, we have Priyanka Sinha, Senior Customer Solution Architect, Edison Lai, Senior Program Manager, Umar Sardar, Senior Program Manager, and Vikram Jha, Program Manager. Priyanka, over to you.
Thanks, David. Hello, everyone. I welcome you all to this Tech Talk. And today we have Edison, Rachel, Tulsi, Umar, and Vikram who contributed to this Tech Talk and will be presenting and supporting in the answering the questions. So moving to next slide. Before we get started, I want to share with you our Dynamics 365 implementation guide, which contains a wealth of information gained from our collective experience across the thousands of implementation. So we would suggest you download it today, and you have the link over there on this slide. This is incorporating the success by design. So please download and go through. Moving to the next slide. Also, we would like to remind you about the human resource standalone migration to finance and operation app infrastructure. So as you know that Dynamics 365 HR is a standalone application that was using a different infrastructure than the finance and operation apps, such as, let's say, supply chain management or finance. So with this infrastructure merge, this will bring Dynamics 365 HR into the same infrastructure as finance and operation apps. So all the existing customers are required to migrate their existing HR environments from standalone infra to your finance and operation apps infrastructure. And uh, this standalone HR app is scheduled to be discontinued after December 31st, 2023. So if you have not started, we strongly recommend start to plan and plan your migration. And you do have this link. You can go through and see we have given all the details. So start planning today if you have not started. Let's move to the next slide. So we had another session, first session, which was functional yesterday, PST time zone. And now this session is particularly about the technical areas, like what's changed in human resource with respect to technical topics. Moving to agenda, we are going to cover the major technical changes which you would experience and you need to consider in current human resources. We will see the comparison and changes in LCS, ALM integration, extensions, dual write, virtual entities, and in reporting. So these are the major topics we would like to cover. Now, let's start with LCS and ALM. Over to you, Umar.
Oh, thank you, Priyanka. Let us get started to see what has changed in Microsoft Dynamics Lifecycle Services when we move to finance and operation infrastructure from standalone human resources application. In standalone human resources app, you use LCS to manage HR instances, and these are the key tools available there. In the next slides, we will review the differences when we move to the finance and operations infrastructure. For example, business process modeler is for managing business processes models for your HR implementation. In finance and operation LCS, it is available in navigation list as mentioned in the screenshot. Quick call out here is that if you are using custom BPM in standalone human resources LCS project, then you need to manually export and import it into finance and operation LCS project by using this tool. The next tool is work items. In standalone HR LCS project, it is accessible under more tools. To access work items for finance and operation LCS project, you need to click on the main navigation as mentioned in the screenshot. This one is for project settings. Similarly, for when you are using standalone human resources LCS project, the project setting is accessible under more tools. To access project settings for finance and operation LCS project, you need to click on the main navigation, as you can see from the screenshot. Let's see what has changed for asset library for your LCS project. In the standalone human resources app, asset library is being used for managing data packages. But now when you move to finance and operations, there are additional types you can manage in an asset library. For example, like database backups, data packages, code packages, and so on. There is a difference of navigation as well, and you can see it in the screenshot. The project user navigation is also changed, and as you can see, it is in the standalone HR app, it is under more tools, while when you are into the finance and operations, it is available under the main navigation. And you use this to maintain your user access and permission, so that functionality remains same in finance and operation as well. The ability to log support ticket is also managed from LCS. The label has been changed from support to service request. When you compare standalone HR LCS project with finance operations implementation, the functionality is same as well. There is only the difference of labels which has changed, and the navigation is changed as well, as you can see from the screenshot. Project onboarding is new tool and required process, and it is a required process for finance and operation LCS project. The configure or migrate button for finance and operation environments will be enabled once you complete project onboarding. So it is a visit for you to add implementation information, for example, region, partners information, first-party application, Azure DevOps project configuration, and so on. So once you complete the project onboarding, you can always come back and edit it anytime if your situation changes. But just like I mentioned, it is the new tool which was not there in a standalone HR app, and it is required for the customers to complete it, and then customers can see the configure or migrate button in front of the environments. Okay, so environment management navigation in standalone human resources app is under project tools in LCS project screen. In environment list page, you can see all the environments like cloud hosted, sandboxes, which is Microsoft managed, and the production. There are a number of management actions you can perform for these environments. For example, adding new environments, copy environments, remove instance. And in finance and operation LCS project, environment management is different, both in terms of navigation and in terms of functionalities. You can manage two types of environments in separate navigations. The cloud hosted environments, and the second one is Microsoft managed environments, which also includes production. You can see the navigation of these environment types as shown in the screenshot. There is a links available for understanding the environment types, and it will be available in the end of the slides. For standalone human resources environment, you can perform environment management operations, and management environment links take you to the Power Platform Admin Portal, where you can manage HR dataverse environment associated with human resources app. In case the customer needs to restore database in human resources environments with particular point in time, for standalone app, it is possible by creating a support ticket. But in merge infrastructure in finance operations, it's a self-service operation in LCS. Although there are certain restrictions for number of days in the past, detailed information is available in the talks article, as mentioned here. For finance and operations environments, the environment management provides you additional capabilities and more insights for environment monitoring. The navigation and environment management operations are highlighted in these screenshots, and the link is also placed over there in the slide, which gives you a detailed information how to use it and how to monitor your environments with the tools available in LCS. So this is the difference, and it gives you more capability when you compare it with the standalone human resources environment management section. Now, in finance and operation infrastructure, customer needs to maintain application upgrades as per Microsoft One Version policy. In standalone human resource application, upgrades are managed by Microsoft with a defined schedule, but in finance and operations, customer can select upgrade settings as per implementation requirement. Update setting is available under project settings in LCS. Subscription estimator is also a new process for finance and operation LCS project. It is required for production sizing and mandatory step for go live readiness. It is recommended to update subscription estimations even after go live if implementation situation changes. For example, your business grows and more transaction volumes are coming up, or if you purchase additional licenses. So it is recommended to keep the subscription estimator update so your production can also be aligned with your business transformation. Go live readiness review is required to make sure system is ready to go live. It is mandatory step before start provisioning production environment. So there is a links available how to conduct the go live readiness workshop, which are the prereqs. And so once you complete it and the go live readiness process is complete, then you can see the configure button getting enabled for the production. From that point, you can start provisioning the production. I'll now hand it over to Edison for the next slide.
Thank you, Umar. So let's start to see what is the change really to the integration when we move to finance and operation infrastructure from standalone human resources application. So in next slide, we can see a core focus on the merge infrastructure is ensuring customers are able to extend and expand application functionality for the integrations and the customization similar as other finance and operation module. From the integration pattern perspective, there are not much change between the standalone human resources and merged infrastructure human resources. Most of the pattern in standalone HR can be used in the merged infrastructure as well, or it has been enhanced in the merged infrastructure. So you can still use the data management framework for fact file import and export, or maybe the Office 365 Word or Excel add-ins, BYOD, APIs, OData, and Power Platform in the merged infrastructure human resources. But few has been moved to the new pattern. For example, like the virtual table in the standalone HR will be supported by the virtual entity in merged infrastructure HR, and we will discuss it in the next coming slide. And regarding to the dataverse integration in standalone, actually Jhaveri, sorry, back to the previous slide. Yeah. And regarding to the dataverse integration in standalone, the Jhaveri was be can be used in the merged infrastructure human resources, but we highly recommend the customers start using the two-way, which provide the tight couple bidirectional integration between the merged infrastructure and the dataverse. Any data change in the merged infrastructure cause the write to the dataverse, or any data change in the dataverse will be caused write to the merged infrastructure. This automated data flow provides an integrated user experience across the system. And then the merged infrastructure human resources support you to set up the integration with the Azure Data Lake service. So right now you can export your HR data in the data lake for the data analyze. And in next slide, after merge infrastructure human resources, and the integration pattern should follow by the finance and operation. And this slide would like to highlight the replacement for the standalone HR API. Actually, it's not required to you to have a huge effort to rebuild the integration, or you cannot exchange the data with a third-party system after you merge to the infrastructure HR. Firstly, the service endpoint in the standalone HR is different from the merged infrastructure. Before that, when you connect to the leave and absent API or the payroll or ATS, for example, you are connecting to the dataverse API format. So you can see the URL like your organization's URL, then slash API slash data slash v9.1. Actually, v9.1 it means the version of the dataverse, and then slash the collection name. But after merge to the finance and operation, you are going to connect the finance and operation environment endpoint directly with the entity name, like your organization with URL slash data slash, and then should be the connection name. You can, of course, you can create your custom data entity as well, which has been marked is public in the AO application object tree as long as the AOT, and then you can use it in the endpoint. So you can still collect the data by the API for diff and absent, payroll, and ATS. The figures show in the table with the different path after the merge to the finance and operation for your reference. And all API in merge infrastructure subject to Surface Protection API limit. You can find more reference in the Surface Protection API limits in MS Learn. So in this slide, we are going to say is the human resources app in the team is currently available for the customer on the standalone human resources only. So the human resources app will be rebuilt. So a new experience will be available as part of the future release on the finance and operation infrastructure. The new experience are extendable in several ways, allowing you to custom and extend the functionality of the app beyond what is available out of the box. And it can be easily to integrate to the team, Outlook, SharePoint, and the Power BI. And the deployment will look different because this app will be hosted in the App Store, which is our cloud-based app store for the business application. And of course, the goal of this new experience is to improve the efficiency, communication, and employee certification for your organization. So please note that up to now, this is still in the private review. If you're interested, would like to join the private review, please contact us. And in this next slide, we are talking about the linking finance and operation between the dataverse. The only way should go from the LCS to any sandbox migration from the standalone HR to the merged infrastructure HR. You can connect to the existing dataverse environment in the LCS. What we have described in the previous slide, the LCS is the portal to manage your environment. The prerequisite is you need to have the environment ID to provide when you connect to the existing dataverse. Firstly, you need to copy the environment ID of the dataverse environment you want to connect with from the Power Platform administrator. You can find it by clicking on the environment detail page on the field highlighted below. And then you go to the LCS and visit the Power Platform integration section for the finance and operation environment, which you want to connect to dataverse environment. And then you click on the setup button. So in the right-hand side in the screen, use the environment ID. You just copy from above step on the following screen. Make sure you check the box used should be the existing Power Platform environment to yes, and then click the setup button. And then you will see the warning message, which means you can you just state you cannot reverse this action because you cannot reverse the install dataverse. And then you click on the confirm button. That means you will trigger the linkage and provision the Power Platform environment. So over to you for extension, Vikram.
Thanks, Edison. Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about the changes, right? What is related to the extensions when we move to finance and operations infrastructure from a standalone human resource application. Next slide, please. So as you are aware, right, in a standalone application, we have no access to HR code base. The custom fields can be managed only through the personalization through the user interface, and that too has a limitation of 20 fields. And the other, like we have some extension possibility through UI or through Power Apps with the standalone. But when Umar, can you please click once? Yeah. But when we move to this merge infrastructure human resource, right, we have the improved extensibility through the Microsoft Power Platform as well as the UI. The D65 HR code base is a part of FNO code base. So all the development guidelines, best practices are already applicable for any new customization or extension to any existing functionalities like other FNO modules. So whatever you are going to extend or we're going to customize in other FNO modules, that is applicable with the HR code base also, right? And it will provide improved extensibility, right? And it will give you the ability to extend business logic, whether you can personalize the screens, forms, or business processes, right? It will allow the streamline of your customizations, right? And enable business to benefit from the shared services and development tools, which you have been already using in other FNO modules, right? And it will also give you benefit of the continuous integration and continuous development, as all your HR related customization extensions will be the part of the same build pipeline and packages. So the same build, same pipeline, everything is that. And like as compared to the other FNO modules, right, the extension with X++, right? If you see the extension with X++, so we have this application explorer, right? And the development environment is basically your Visual Studio, right? That is your development environment where you can do the X++ extension and customization. Development tools that are decoupled, right, from any running environment, you develop against your local XML-based file, not the online database or not through anything. So it's your local repository when you develop, and as part of your CI/CD, you can add your extension or custom code to the custom packages along with the other FNO modules. You can combine your HR related customizations in the same model packages as further FNO modules. So you have the benefit of X++ code editor, you have the benefit of models and packages concept. So as compared to other FNO modules, all the concepts related to the new models or any like related to the ISV or whatnot, right? All the packages and models that you can use in HR code base as well. Other benefit you have when you are going with this merge infrastructure, that the customization analysis report, right? So the CARE report, right, which can help you with the details of deviations of the best practices and development guidelines in your custom code, and it will help you to fix or to optimize the code based on the best practices and development guidelines. It will also improve the deployments, right? The updates, because it's one update now across one version updates. You will be compliant with the one version updates, your maintenance, your consistency in terms of ALM, right? Lifecycle services, geo availability, and all. So being at one infrastructure, the HR is the same as the other FNO module. And you have that option for customization. X++, you can use the .NET library, you can use the other shared services and tools, right, which you can use in other FNO modules. With this, over to you, Umar. What you will write?
Thank you, Vikram. Okay, so it's a short section just to explaining about the dual right change in in the finance and operation merge infrastructure. Just to let you know that in the standalone human resources application, you can use dataverse integrations to synchronize information from application to dataverse. Now in finance and operation infrastructure, it is no longer available. We now have dual rights to sync information from finance operation applications to dataverse. Dual right map for human resources are now available with human resources entities, and the detailed documentations for dual rights is available in this slide. In order to use dual rights in finance and operations for human resources, you first need to install human resources package from Power Platform Admin Center. Once it is installed, you can then enable human resources dual right maps from finance and operations application by going into the dual right screen under data management. We have demonstrated the configuration steps in our previous HR Tech Talk, where we demonstrated the lift and shift migration scenario. I'll now hand it over to Edison for virtual entities.
Yeah, thank you, Umar, again. So that let's start to see what is the change related to virtual entity. And in previous slide, we have talked about the virtual table should be in the standalone HR, but the virtual entity will be in the merge infrastructure. So in the merge infrastructure, there are no features enabled required in the features management to enable the virtual entity, but you still need to require to configure which entity should be a virtual entity and visible in the dataverse. So when you finish the configuration in the finance and operation and the dataverse, you can find the prefix name in the virtual entity is a little bit different. In before, the prefix name should be MSHR, and in the finance and operation, it will be changed to the MSERP. So the naming will be a different in the prefix. Below is the high-level configuration step for you to enable the virtual entity in the dataverse. So firstly, you need to ensure they are the required solution are installed in the dataverse. They are totally about the 4 solutions. And then you need to grant the app permission in the finance and operation, and then configure the virtual entity, the data source. And then you need to back to the dataverse and make the entity visible. And then you can find the virtual entity in the environment table list. So you can refer to the below URL in the MSNer for the detailed setup to enable the virtual entity. And in this next slide, here is the example of the compare between the standalone HR and the merged infrastructure HR. So you can see some virtual table name, maybe the table name will be same, but some will be different. But definitely just the prefix of the table name will be changed to the MSERP from the MSHR. So that's all from the virtual entity. Over to you, Priyanka.
So let's move to the last technical area, but not the least, which is reporting and BI. If we go to the next slide, When we talk about reporting in the standalone HR app, if you see, we have a couple of options, like we can use out-of-box SSRS reports, embedded Power BI reports. But if you see, those cannot be customized. However, you can flow HR data to the dataverse, and that can be reported on via Power Apps Dataverse connector to Power BI desktop. And we also have electronic reporting available for some of the reports in HR. And then customer-driven customization can be done via the electronic reporting configuration options. Also, in standalone HR app, we have a Microsoft Excel and Word, where data can be exported by using various data entities which are available and in human resources. This is provided through the Microsoft Office integration. But when we come to the merged infrastructure, we have full flexibility to use existing SSRS, Power BI, or electronic reporting. But additionally, to customize the existing report, like if you need any modification or any changes in the existing report, you can do that via extension, as Vikram explained in earlier section. Like we do any other customization in FNO, we can do same with the reporting for HR. And then also you can use Microsoft Excel or Word to export the data, as we could able to do in standalone HR. But if you see, additionally in merged infrastructure, we can also use Azure Data Lake, where we can copy data from your environment to the data lake. And then once the data is in data lake, you can work with that data for any purpose, let's say for analytical purpose, or you can apply machine learning, AI, and there are many more tools and many more scenarios you can use. Like you can mash up your data from any other system. So there are many scenarios you can use Azure Data Lake in this from this merged infrastructure. So this is the very high level comparison and the changes. Moving to the next, we have the list of resources where you can look and go through to know more. So if you see, there are multiple resources. And then let's go to the next slide. Yeah, if you are interested to try human resource today, here are the required links. And please go and try it. So this is the last slide where we covered all those areas which we wanted to cover, and now we are on the questions.
Sure.
So
yeah, I think there are some of the answers which are not, there are a few of the questions which are not answered yet, and I'll pick some of them, and then we can speak some of the answers questions as well. So for example, one of the question is, when we add custom fields table, do we need to use the advice prefix? So the answer is, I mean, as per the X++ best practices, so there should be prefixes as per your model, as per the customization you are doing it. So you should follow that prefixes best practices while creating a new fields, by creating a new artifacts, classes, tables, and so on. There is one question, and that is, Azure Data Lake would attract additional licenses or additional cost. So there is the Azure Data Lake. The export to Azure Data Lake is standard with finance operations, and there are detailed documentations available, and we will paste the documentation link over here for that. And then there is a question that, is there already a roadmap regarding public preview and GA release from new time is off experience? Tulsi, do you want to take that?
Hey, Mark. Sorry, can you repeat? I was answering
No.
the other. Okay, about the
All right.
roadmap.
Yeah, the roadmap about the time off experience.
Is there already a roadmap regarding public preview and GA releases of the new time of experience? There is not any documentation at this time, but this is very close and will be released in short period, and will keep your eyes peeled on Yammer and other areas for announcement, as we will provide additional details.
Thank you, Tulsi. And I'll now go to the sum of the answers questions, if we can speak it for the recording perspective. So for example, the question was that where can we obtain a copy of this document? So it will be published within 5 days, just like any other traditional tech talk. And then there is another question is, when was the date of HR merge into finance? Is there any grace period? So again, the GA was announced in December 22, and the grace period is 1 year, which is already, you're in the grace period. So you need to complete your migration by end of this year. That's the deadline we have announced, and we are advising all the customers and partners to consider it. There is another question is, do we have a data templates for human resources templates? So data entities and templates, we have recently added some of that. We added new entities, we added new templates, and there is a link shared by Vikram. So you can go and check if it is the required entity is mentioned over there and can fulfill your requirement. So there is a question regarding the license, which is from the licensing perspective, is HR still a standalone product? So there is no change to human resources licenses. If you have an existing human resources license, you can use the same license and you can migrate it to finance and operations infrastructure. The detailed link is shared by Tulsi in the chat window. Okay, so I think I have covered all the questions. Is anyone else from the presenters wanted to highlight some of the questions?
Yeah, so there are some additional questions which are not answered. So there's another question that if a customer has a HR F&O prod environment, they migrated from standalone HR, and they also have F&O prod environment for finance or SCM. What is the best way to integrate the two F&O environments in a meantime before they potentially merge? Yeah. So basically the question is that how those two F&O environments will be merged. I think Umar, you can take this question.
Yeah, so if you have an existing finance and operation environment, and that is, I think, a very good question, and we are receiving these questions from multiple customers. So if you have an existing finance and operation environments and you are running in human resources in a standalone app, now since the lift and shift migration gives you ability to migrate into finance and operation infrastructure, but to a new LCS project, a separate project. It's not your existing finance and operations. So this process called lift and shift migration, and it is possible by running the tools which Microsoft released, and it's a tool available in LCS. So all of your customizations, everything in database will move by running that tool. In order to merge after that, consolidate that with your existing finance and operation environments, just like we were previously discussing, there are additional entities and templates available which you can use to do the migration manually. So you can treat it as a data migration process where you extract the information, where you transform it, and then you load it into your finance and operation environment. So that is process will be manually, but it can utilize the entities. And if you don't have the right set of entities available there, you can always create a new entity for that purpose. But I think it's a good question, and it is going to be one of the most commonly asked questions in the coming days from the migration perspective. But all of these deadlines, this deadline is for you to move from human resources infrastructure to finance and operation infrastructure consolidation, and the next stage is up to the individual customers and partners whenever they wanted to do it as per the implementation timelines. Okay, so is there any other questions, Priyanka, you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, there is one more question. The question is that when we add custom fields or table, do we need to use the advised prefix? So answer is yes. So whatever best practices we are following in finance and operation for the customization, same need to be followed for the human resources. It is same. The customization and best practices are same.
Thanks,
And
Priyanka.
I think we have answered all other questions.
Okay, sounds good. So we will wait. If there is any new questions coming from the audience, please feel free to add it, and we can utilize this time to answer it. And just like mentioned in the start, there are two sections of this Tech Talk. One is the functional section, which gives you the difference of functionalities and how it looks like in merge infrastructure as compared to standalone HR app that was conducted in yesterday. So the recording for that session will be published as well. So if you did not attend it, we recommend you to review the recording for that as well. And then once you combine these two tech talks, you will get the overview of the difference in broader way. Yeah, I think there is no more questions coming up, so we can now conclude the Q&A. And we move to the next one. So
Right.
this one is,
yeah,
go ahead, Priyanka.
Yeah. So this is like we just want everyone to stay connected, and here are the links. Like you can use LinkedIn, our community YouTube page, or the TechTalk. So there are multiple ways you can be connected with us. So please do that. You have all the links available in this slide. And when we move to the next, we would like to thank each one of you to joining this Tech Talk. And please, so the recording, as Umar mentioned, the recording will be uploaded for both this session within 5 business days. So please go through that and let us know if you have any other question or anything. Thanks, everyone. Over to you, David.
Thank you, Priyanka. I've posted a link to a short survey in the Q&A panel. We'd like your feedback on today's session and hear what you'd like to see in future events. Thank you for your participation. As a reminder, the recording of today's session will be available on the Tech Talks Community Dynamics page within the coming weeks. I'd like to extend a big thank you to our presenters and audience for joining us today.